Everything is connected. You want to be a good neighbor. So everywhere you see a cutaway, it corresponds to the height of a neighboring building. 45 degrees to the right, that gray box, 401 North Mish, is our other shoreline dock. It is introducing us to modernism, the style that filled the boxes which fill our modern cities. The modernism was born at the Bauhaus. Who has heard of this famous art school, 1920s German emerging industry and art? Let me tell you about the first modernists at the Bauhaus. They're no nonsense, utilitarian, functional. Their idea of a building, you celebrate structure, you celebrate materials. You walk around saying, you know, the brick is another teacher. But guess what modernists hate on a building? Decoration. That's bourgeois. Space. Skeletons, the frame holding it up, skin the glass curved wall, space, a square. 45 degrees to the right, that building with a yellow mosque-like dome is the Hotel Intercontinental, built in 1929 as the Medina Athletic Club, a project of the philanthropic Shriners. Now, London has Big Ben, Paris, the Eiffel Tower. We Chicagoans have the Wrigley Building, the Clock Tower, 1921, North Face added 1924. Now, this building was commissioned by the chewing gum king, William Wrigley Jr., who first sold juicy fruit gum at the Chicago World's Fair in 1893. He's bringing the fair home. The style, it come out of Paris, France. It was called the City Beautiful Movement, Beaux-Arts. You know what you did? You imitated Greece and Rome. Classical architecture grew up with the soul. Or in this case, Spanish revivalism. The clock tower is modeled on the 11th century Giralda Tower in Sevilla in Spain, you can still find today. From my favorite London architecture, good man, Sir Norman Foster's Apple Store. A little wall that's hardly there on a roof that evokes an Apple laptop. Go shopping later on one magnificent mile of Michigan Avenue. We call it Boulevard Mission, the French manner. As Burnham's plan was to turn Chicago into Paris on the prairie. But hey, what happened to the bridge? Let's take it to the bridge. We call the bridge DuSable Bridge. In Chicago, you don't forget where you came from. Jean-Baptiste Pont-du-Sable was the first Chicagoan, a French-speaking fur trader from Haiti. He started the fur trading empire right up there in 1779. Now the World's Fair influence lives on. 45 degrees you're left with the Jewelers Building in 1926. I love the blue sky behind it. Look at that cupola dome tower and classic water tanks. Inspired by a 15th century Italian monastery, this is called the Pavia, but built here for the jewelers trade. Movie fans, you might remember that water tank from Batman Begins with Christian Bale as the Cape Crusader. Near the end of the first film in the trilogy, he's sitting up there in that water tank, and I think he's thinking, wow, Chicago makes it way cool, Gotham City. Directly ahead of us from Spanish architect Ricardo Bofill, we have 77 Esparta Drive. Look at that, a soaring modern skyscraper with an ancient Greek temple-style roof, mixing classic and modern elements together. That is fine. This is an architectural style known as postmodernism. After 30 years of boxes and architecture, people got bored. Postmodernists showed up and became the DJs of the architectural world, feeling free to sample in the architectural style, turning building into a magic. Now, the black box on the right is pure Bauhaus style modernism.
Yeah, I love it.
The father of modernism in America, who knows his name, Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, third director of the Bauhaus School in Germany. He comes to Chicago in 1938 and spreads the minimalist, modern, or you may have heard him say, less is more philosophy around the world. His rebellious Chicago student at the Bauhaus is named Bertrand Goldberg. Goldberg isn't preaching what his teachers are teaching. He's got no love of boxes. He wants a circle to bring people together. Still a modernist. Look at the Marina City Towers by Bertrand Goldberg, which we call the Corn Cob since 1977. And the Chicago band Wilco will recognize it from the CD cover of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, if anyone remembers what CDs were.
Just naturally eye color too from like
Now, Goldberg called this. Listen to the man. Like a flower. It's an art of poor lifestyle. That's housing, your elevators, utilities, to build the rings on the Now what you are witnessing is a complete city within the city where everything is at your fingertips. 4 restaurants, a bowling alley, swimming pool, bank, office space, space age, parking, and your living space upstairs. You see, in the 60s, we got the railroads and turned our back on this wonderful river. It became a back alley, nothing out here. But people who work downtown wanted to live downtown for 24 hours living. So Bert gave you everything at home. It's an introvert's paradise you never have to leave. I forgot to warn you, if you move to Marina City, look at the parking garage. Guess what? You're not allowed to park your own car. Only the valets can park the cars, right? Because what happens if you back up a little bit much? You kind of get the river. Oh, here's something to check on YouTube. They drove a Pontiac on the 17th floor of Marina City for Steve McQueen's last action movie, The Hunter, 1980. You know, the engine's in the front, top heavy. The car plummets 24 feet to the bottom of the river. It's like an Olympic dive.
All the buildings.
I gave it a 9.9 out of 10. Step back to 1914, the old red brick building on the right is the Reed Murdoch Warehouse, introducing us to adaptive reuse. We're reinventing an old building with new life. So here we see a 100-year-old warehouse thriving as an industrial-sized restaurant called the River Roast, and even in the age of the internet, home to Whirlpool and encyclopedia. See how the profile is much more horizontal than vertical. The architect George Stevens, like the great Frank Lloyd Wright, who's heard that name, associated with the style that came right out of the Midwest. Prairie school architecture. Look around you, man. We don't have any mountains here. Everything is flat, 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 flat. Have I made my point yet? Flat as a board. Prairie school architects evoke the flatness of a plane. Okay, listen in. I'll tell you the truth of how we became birthplace to the skyscraper. We didn't have a choice in the matter. After the fire, the city banned you from building wood downtown, so you got masonry. But guess what? That load-bearing exterior brick wall is going to get 6 inches wider every time you add the floor. You just lost all your floor space. So a Civil War bridge builder who used to run William Baron Jenney, is doing the home insurance building. He's the first person to use a skeletal internal frame like every modern skyscraper, leading to the first Chicago School of Architectural Style. There's an example of 19. Normally wouldn't reveal such personal facts about myself. And now on the right, the style that puts the roaring 20s Art Deco, the 1930s Chicago Merchandise Mart. Art Deco, rather sleek machine-made look, streamlined, came out of Paris, 1925. When I say Art Deco, think of the writer F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby, The Jazz Age. Whoa, I'm doing Graham hands. America's moving forward. This is the largest structure in America prior to completion of the Pentagon. Cost $38 billion in 1930. A great retailer, Marshall Field Department Store, commissioned